Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Martial Universe Season 9 Part 8 based on novel. So let's start. An enormous scarlet red light array covered the land while trapping that ferocious three-headed demon snake inside it. However, this usually ferocious demonic beast currently had a somewhat ugly expression as he looked at Lin Dong, who was smilingly staring at him from the air above. Hee, my friend, there is not much of an enmity between the both of us. Why don't we do it this way? I will not take the life mysterious spirit fruit, and we'll end this peacefully. What do you say? The face of the three-headed demon snake twitched slightly as he laughed dryly while facing Lin Dong. You have also seen the devouring ancestral symbol, right? Lin Dong smiled and asked. The three-headed demon snake's pupils shrunk, while his expression turned a little unnatural. He had naturally clearly seen just how Lin Dong had finished off Shiyun earlier, causing shock to arise within his heart. That Shiyun was a genuine initial divine symbol master. The latter's powerful mental energy made it difficult for even the three-headed demon snake to defeat. However, this unlucky fellow was actually being killed so easily by Lin Dong. Although this was mostly because of the devouring ancestral symbol's power, Lin Dong's ruthless methods also caused him to feel some fear in his heart. What are you planning to do? The three-headed demon snake clenched his teeth and said. I do not wish to expose the fact that I possess the devouring ancestral symbol. Hence, I'm afraid that I cannot allow those who know about it to live. Lin Dong's voice was gentle, but the flickering frostiness within his eyes caused the heart of the three-headed demon snake to sink a little. You? The expression of the three-headed demon snake changed slightly. Immediately, both of his eyes became dark and ruthless as he said, Lin Dong, I am aware that you have many tricks up your sleeve, but if you really force me, I also have the means to cause you to pay a significant price. Do you actually have the qualifications to utter such words in this burning sky cauldron? Lin Dong laughed coldly after hearing these words. He waved his sleeve, and the devouring ancestral symbol above his head whistled out. It directly turned into a black hole that covered the area above the formation. After which, devouring power began to sweep out from it. With the descent of the devouring power, that three-headed demon snake immediately sensed that his physical strength was actually diminishing a little at a time. Horror quickly rose within his heart. This devouring ancestral symbol was indeed strange. No wonder it was called the most mysterious ancestral symbol amongst the 8 great ancestral symbols. It might be a little troublesome to get rid of you, but I am not in a hurry. As long as you are trapped in this burning sky array, the devouring ancestral symbol will devour your strength bit by bit. Lin Dong looked at the somewhat horrified expression of the three-headed demon snake and laughed. Brat, you are really ruthless. The three-headed demon snake involuntarily cried out in anger after hearing this. You are no different. Neither of us are nice people. Why do you need to utter such words? Lin Dong mocked. If he was the defeated party today, his fate would likely be many times more miserable. He was after all not some inexperienced young lad. Just quietly wait in this place. Lin Dong uttered those words, before turning around to exit the burning sky cauldron. Wait! The three-headed demon snake hurriedly cried out after seeing this. If Lin Dong really left him behind, his strength would be completely devoured by the devouring ancestral symbol. Upon the loss of his strength, he would be no different from cattle waiting to be slaughtered. Lin Dong's footsteps paused. He glanced at the three-headed demon snake indifferently. I will tell you the secret of Mysterious Spirit Island, and you will let me go. What do you say? The three-headed demon snake clenched his teeth and said. Oh. Lin Dong lifted his brow. However, he did not display much interest. Let's hear it. I will tell you if you release me. The eyes of the three-headed demon snake flickered as it said. Your life is in my hands. Therefore, you are not qualified to discuss conditions with me. I am also well versed in mental energy. Once your strength is completely exhausted, I can directly use mental energy to search your memories. Lin Dong spoke indifferently. You? The three-headed demon snake's complexion immediately turned steely green. It was likely that he did not expect a situation where nothing worked on Lin Dong. Are you going to speak? Lin Dong glanced at the three-headed demon snake and demanded. The three-headed demon snake's expression fluctuated. A moment later, he finally slumped in disappointment as he said, "The greatest treasure on Mysterious Spirit Island is not the life Mysterious Spirit fruit. Instead, it lies deep under the lake, the core spiritual birth serum." The three-headed demon snake had clearly used all of its strength to utter those last few words. His face was filled with unwillingness. Core spiritual birth serum? Lin Dong was stunned after hearing this name. Immediately, his expression altered slightly. It was likely that he had also heard of this natural treasure that was even rarer than the life Mysterious Spirit fruit. This so-called core spiritual birth serum was extremely rare, and was undoubtedly a divine object for profound life stage experts. An extremely pure natural life force was contained within it. If one could absorb and refine it, even some advanced or even perfect profound life stage experts would greatly benefit. In other words, this core spiritual birth serum was something that even perfect profound life stage experts would drool at. If news that the core spiritual birth serum had been discovered on Mysterious Spirit Island instead of the life Mysterious Spirit fruit, it was likely that the experts who would come to this island would not be Wei Song, Xu Yun, and the rest. Instead, they would be true experts who had reached the advanced or perfect profound life stage. Of course, the current Lin Dong would likely only be able to hide in the face of existences with such power. Unless he advanced to the profound life stage, it would be too unreasonable to fight against these experts. The reason that the Mysterious Spirit fruit was formed on this island is likely also because of that core spiritual birth serum, right? Lin Dong stared at the three-headed demon snake with great interest, before he suddenly asked, "Why have you not taken away the core spiritual birth serum if you know of its existence?" Given Lin Dong's cautiousness, he would naturally not be blinded because of the core spiritual birth serum. This three-headed demon snake had been here for so many years. Would he simply leave it alone if there was such a treasure? The core spiritual birth serum is located in the deepest part of the island. It is surrounded by magma. I am unable to enter, the three-headed demon snake clenched his teeth and said. If he was able to obtain the core spiritual birth serum, it was likely that he would have already advanced to the advanced profound life stage. At that time, Lin Dong and the rest would be completely at his mercy. Lin Dong stared at the three-headed demon snake. He smiled and nodded a moment later before saying, "I will go and investigate after this. You should be aware of the consequences if it is a lie." Lin Dong ignored the furious roar of the three-headed demon snake after his words sounded. His body moved, turning into a bright light as he exited the burning sky cauldron. "You bastard!" The three-headed demon snake let out a series of furious curses after seeing this scene. It was a long while later, before he gradually calmed down. After which, he sat in the middle of the burning sky array. His hand rubbed his smooth bald head, as a sinister and strange smile suddenly flashed across his lowered eyes. Bang bang! Wave after wave of wild and violent wind unfurled above the surface of the lake, as two groups engaged in a chaotic battle. Sounds of battle soared towards the sky, causing the entire place to appear relatively chaotic. Boom! Majestic Yuan power erupted from within Wei Song's body. After which, he suddenly slammed his palm forward. A Yuan power pillar tore through the air and ruthlessly smashed towards Ji Yu Yang. The wild force caused the latter to take over a dozen steps back. "Ji Yu Yang, you people cannot do anything to me. Humph, I am aware that you have placed your hopes on Lin Dong. However, do you really think that he is able to fight a divine symbol master and an initial profound life stage demonic beast at the same time with just his strength alone?" Wei Song looked around him. After which, his eyes paused on the enormous scarlet-red cauldron floating in the sky as he sneered and said, "Since he has yet to come out after such a long time, he might have already been killed by Brother Shu and the three-headed demon snake. I advise you to give up and leave quickly. Otherwise, you might not even have the chance to regret your actions." Wei Song laughed loudly. The surrounding members of the Wei clan also laughed with him. Mo Zhon, Han Dao, and the many others around the lake did not leave. They were clearly intending to see just who would occupy the upper hand in the subsequent battle. However, based on their guess, Lin Dong would most likely end up dying under ordinary circumstances. Regardless of how many tricks he had, Xu Yun and the three-headed demon snake were both quite powerful. On the other hand, Lin Dong was merely at the 9 Yuan Nirvana stage. Ji Yu Yang and some of the members of the Ji Yu clan had a change in expression after hearing Wei Song's words. If Lin Dong really ended up failing, they would be completely defeated this time around. At that time, not only would they be unable to obtain the life-mysterious spirit fruit, but even attempting to escape would be a problem. Guya bit her lips. Her eyes were filled with worry as she looked at the scarlet-red cauldron while both of her small hands were clasped together. Ha ha, looks like the result will be a great disappointment to you. However, a familiar laughter suddenly sounded while the hearts of those from the Gu clan were feeling uneasy. Soon after, everyone saw a ray of light rushing out from the burning sky cauldron. Finally, it transformed into a human figure. That appearance belonged to Lin Dong. The atmosphere over the lake instantly froze the moment Lin Dong appeared, while the smiles on Wei Song and rest slowly stiffened. The faces of Mo Zhon and the rest by the side also gradually became grave. The first to exit was actually Lin Dong. Could it be that he had finished off Xu Yun and the three-headed demon snake? Mo Zhon and the rest looked at each other. They were able to see shock in each other's eyes. Just what kind of person was this? The skinny young man stood in the air. Both of his hands hung at his sides, and his face contained a seemingly gentle smile. However, in the face of his calm smile, all of the factions around the lake were so taken aback that they did not dare to make the smallest movement. Wei Song stared at Lin Dong, who had appeared. The cold smile on his face was so stiff that it looked exceptionally ugly. He swallowed his saliva and a strange sound was emitted from his throat. After which, the corner of his lips twitched as he tried his best to calm himself down. "Where is Brother Shu?" Wei Song's voice was a little hoarse as he asked. "He's been dealt with." Lin Dong looked at Wei Song. Soon after, he chuckled and answered in an offhanded manner. The originally quiet atmosphere instantly completely froze because of Lin Dong's words. Several people quietly inhaled a breath of cold air within their hearts. Mo Zhon, Han Dao, and the rest had solemn faces while rejoicing inwardly. Fortunately, they did not lose their heads because of greed earlier. Who could have imagined that this seemingly harmless fellow would actually be so formidable? Those were a divine symbol master and an initial profound life stage expert. This person was actually able to finish them off with his 9 Yuan Nirvana stage strength. Wei Song's eyes seemed to have become momentarily dull at this moment. It was quite some time later before he gradually recovered. Some fear was present in his eyes when he looked at Lin Dong again, while the jeers from those members of the Wei clan behind him were instantly extinguished. The earlier atmosphere seemed to have completely vanished. Of course, they were not the only ones who were shocked. Even Ji Yu Yang's group had faces full of disbelief. It was likely that they still had some difficulty recovering from the matter of Lin Dong killing a divine symbol master. Do you know who Brother Shu is? His master is the Sinecure of Demonic Wind Cave, the nefarious Bone Old Man. You actually dared to kill him? Wei Song involuntarily cried out in anger after recovering. Nefarious Bone Old Man. The expressions of Ji Yu Yang's group changed slightly after hearing this. It was likely that they had heard of this name. However, Lin Dong remained emotionless. He had dared to kill even the hundreds of elite Yuan Gate disciples, much less a Sinecure's disciple. Could that nefarious Bone Old Man be even more ferocious than the 3 Yuan Gate sect masters? Wei Song, Xu Yun has continued to pressure and attack us today and has even attempted to kill Lin Dong. Lin Dong is merely acting in self-defense. Even if the nefarious Bone Old Man learns of this, there will be nothing that he can say. Such things are an ordinary occurrence in this chaotic demon sea. Ji Yu Yang coldly said. Humph, I don't care what justifications you have. You can go and explain to Sinecure Liu after this matter reaches his ear. Wei Song laughed coldly. Do you wish for the same fate as him? Lin Dong smilingly watched Wei Song. After which, he waved his sleeve. The scarlet-red cauldron in the sky shook, and an astonishing scarlet-red light flickered at the mouth of the cauldron. The expression of Wei Song's group changed drastically upon seeing this, and hurriedly pulled back. "If you do not get lost in 10 breaths' time, all of you will die." Lin Dong's eyes gradually turned ice-cold. His tone was filled with a dense murderous intent. Wei Song's complexion immediately alternated between green and white after hearing this. Soon after, however, he swung his sleeve violently and spoke in a ruthless voice, "Ji Yu Yang, don't be too happy. Your group has killed Xu Yun, and such a matter will not be resolved so easily. Let me tell you, Xu Yun's senior has already attacked Ji Yu Yunqian. Your Ji Yu clan will definitely suffer a complete loss during this martial gathering." "What did you say?" Ji Yu Yang cried out upon hearing this, as her expression drastically changed. "You will know when the time comes," Wei Song laughed loudly. Soon after, his eyes were wary and a little fearful as they glanced at Lin Dong in a dark and ruthless manner. Finally, he no longer dared remain any longer, as he swung his sleeve and led his Wei clan to beat a hasty retreat. Lin Dong's eyes were calm as he watched Wei Song's group retreat. He did not show any signs of attacking again. Currently, there were many pairs of eyes present on this island. It was impossible to prevent the news of him killing Wei Song from spreading. If he was to attack and kill Wei Song's group, it would instead result in additional unnecessary trouble. Moreover, given Wei Song's ability, it was difficult for the latter to pose any threat towards him. Those experts from the various factions around the lake helplessly shook their heads after the Wei clan's withdrawal. They watched the cold and indifferent Lin Dong before exchanging a look with each other. Finally, they began to scatter on their own. Currently, none of them had the courage to snatch the 3 life mysterious spirit fruits from Lin Dong's hands. Rushing wind sounds appeared around the lake, as many figures quickly left. Within a short couple of minutes, even the one-armed Mo Shon and Han Dao had all left this troublesome place. The lake, which had originally been a hubbub of voices, quickly became quiet. Everyone had left, leaving a mess behind. Lin Dong also descended from the air. He beckoned with his hand, and the burning sky cauldron turned into a red light that rushed into his body. Subsequently, he turned around and looked towards Ji Yu Yang's group. The hearts of Ji Yu Yang and the members of the Ji Yu clan quivered when they saw Lin Dong look over. Those calm eyes of Lin Dong now looked as if they had the sharpness of a blade. Ji Yu Yang could only sigh in her heart upon seeing this. Who could have expected that the crippled Lin Dong, who had been found by Ji Yu a dozen days ago, would actually be this powerful? Lin Dong glanced at Ji Yu Yang. He clenched his hand, and 2 life mysterious spirit fruits appeared in a flash. He tossed one towards Ji Yu Yang. "This is the life mysterious spirit fruit that has been exchanged for 10,000 Xian Yuan pills." Ji Yu Yang hurriedly received it. The rich life qi from the life mysterious spirit fruit that entered her hands caused an enchanting redness to be revealed on her cold face. She quickly bit her lips and softly uttered, "Thank you." She understood that 10,000 Xian Yuan pills were nothing in comparison to the value of this life mysterious spirit fruit. If it was not because Lin Dong had intervened in this desperate crisis, it was likely that she would not have a chance at obtaining this life mysterious spirit fruit. Being able to meet after I have just arrived at this chaotic demon sea is also a kind of affinity. Lin Dong smiled. At this moment, he no longer had the coldness that he had earlier. After all, Ji Yu Yang's group had indeed helped him substantially along the way. Lin Dong suddenly walked towards Ji Yu as he spoke. After which, he extended his hand and rubbed the little girl's head. With a flip of his hand, a life mysterious spirit fruit appeared. Soon after, he handed it towards the latter under the envious gazes of the surrounding Ji Yu clan members. "This is for me." Ji Yu eyes looked at the emerald-like life mysterious spirit fruit. She desired it, but did not dare to receive it. All she did was to stare at Lin Dong and timidly ask, "Lass, if it was not for you, I would likely have been eaten by a demonic beast. My life is much more valuable than this life mysterious spirit fruit," Lin Dong laughed. He forcibly stuffed that life mysterious spirit fruit into Ji Yu's hand. Only then did the latter happily accept it. What are your plans? Lin Dong turned towards Ji Yu Yang and asked after having distributed the two life mysterious spirit fruit. I wish to break through to the profound life stage with the help of the energy from the life mysterious spirit fruit. Ji Yu Yang voiced her thoughts. The 5 clans martial gathering would begin in another 2 months. If she was able to break through to the profound life stage, it was likely that she would be able to increase the Ji Yu clan's strength a little during the martial gathering. Lin Dong nodded after hearing this. His gaze immediately looked towards the calm lake and said, I will be making a trip to the bottom of this lake. It should be quite dangerous below. I will not stop you if you wish to go. However, I cannot guarantee your safety. Although the 3-headed demon snake had been rather vague about the bottom of this lake, the cautious Lin Dong would not believe that it was safe. Otherwise, given the temptation of the core spiritual birth serum, that 3-headed demon snake would have tried all means to obtain it. Ji Yu Yang was clearly startled by Lin Dong's words. After which, she glanced at the calm lake. Her intelligent self could naturally guess that Lin Dong's actions definitely had a motive. However, she did not probe further. They had already obtained quite a lot from Lin Dong. It would be a little overboard if they asked for any more. Okay, then you should go. Be careful. If there is sufficient time, we will help keep watch outside. Ji Yu Yang thought for a moment, before she nodded and said. Lin Dong smiled and nodded. After which, he patted Ji Yu's small head, turned around and headed towards the lake. Brother Lin Dong, be careful. Ji Yu waved her small hand behind him. Lin Dong waved his hand with his back facing her. His body moved, and with a splash, he leaped into the ice-cold lake. After which, Yuan power wrapped around him, and he swiftly swam towards the depths of the lake. Elder sister Ji Yu Yang, why does he want to go to the bottom of the lake? Could there be some treasure there? A member of the Ji Yu clan looked at the spreading ripples on the lake surface and softly asked. Ji Yu Yang glanced at the member of the Ji Yu clan in an indifferent manner and said, a person should be content with what one has. Be careful of choking to death if you eat too much. That member of the Ji Yu clan hurriedly nodded in embarrassment after hearing this. He did not dare to speak any further. Issue the order. We will camp here. Check for any activity in the surroundings. I will undertake a retreat and attempt to advance to the profound life stage. Ji Yu Yang waved her hand. After which, her delicate figure leaped onto a boulder and sat down. Both of her eyes were focused on the surface of the lake. A moment later, she withdrew her gaze and clenched her hand, as the life mysterious spirit fruit appeared within it. Subsequently, she slowly shut her eyes. Yuan power wrapped around Lin Dong's body. Its strong power allowed Lin Dong to appear like a fish as he swiftly swam towards the bottom of the lake, causing many ripples to form along the way. From the outside, the surface of the lake appeared extremely large. Upon entering it, however, one would discover that the surface above was merely the tip of the iceberg. If one looked towards the depths of the lake, the deep darkness appeared just like the large mouth of a demon, a sight that caused one's hairs to stand. As he gradually neared the bottom of the lake, Lin Dong could sense that there were actually no living creatures within it. This caused him to be exceptionally surprised. After all, the life energy in this place was extremely dense, hence it was a most suitable place to live. Oddly enough, he was unable to find even small fishes within this enormous lake. His mental energy perception spread, however, the feedback that he received was a strange deathly silence. This unusual scene caused caution to rise in Lin Dong's heart. Yuan power gushed like a river within his body, and powerful energy spread towards his limbs as he prepared to deal with any unexpected situations. Faint sounds were emitted from the quiet lake as Lin Dong's body moved through it. His eyes drifted towards the dark bottom of the lake, as they suddenly focused. He could sense that the temperature of the water in this area had raised significantly. This lake is really a little weird, this thought flashed across Lin Dong's mind, before his body descended once again. This continued for over 10 minutes, before a bright red light suddenly appeared amidst the endless darkness. At the same time, the temperature of the surrounding water was also rapidly increasing. The size of the bright red light below grew increasingly larger as Lin Dong ventured deeper. Soon after, he saw that it was actually lava that spread towards the end of his sight. The fiery red lava spread at the bottom of the lake, and looked just like a flaming carpet. The lava emitted a gurgling sound as it rose, while the surrounding ice-cold lake water was also heated by it until it became boiling hot. Lin Dong watched this scene in a stunned manner. Soon after, he could not help but smack his lips. It was likely that this was the first time he had seen such a bizarre scene where fire and water coexisted. The three-headed demon snake said that the core spiritual birth serum is at the bottom of the lake. However, there are no such fluctuations here. Lin Dong quickly recovered. His eyes swept around him and his mental energy swiftly extended outwards. However, he began to frown soon after. This was because he had discovered that there were no other energy fluctuations at the bottom of the lake other than the lava. Let alone the core spiritual birth serum. Could that fellow be lying? Lin Dong knitted his brows, before quickly shaking his head. Although the three-headed demon snake could not be completely trusted, there should be some truth to his words. Moreover, the latter should also be clearly aware that it was too easy for this kind of lie to be exposed. At that time, given Lin Dong's methods, he would definitely end up suffering. Could it be below the lava? Lin Dong's gaze turned, and suddenly paused on that gurgling lava that was emitting bubbles. He mused for a moment before beckoning with his hand, and the burning sky cauldron was summoned. His body moved and he entered it. Only then did he control the burning sky cauldron as it turned into a ray of light, and charged into the burning lava below. The burning sky cauldron met no resistance as when it hit the lava. Subsequently, it easily broke into the lava. Lin Dong, who was inside, sighed in relief after seeing this. It seemed that his guess was correct. Lin Dong hid within the burning sky cauldron, while his mental energy spread and absorbed the scene under the lava into his mind. Even Lin Dong could not help but be taken aback as these images were sent back into his mind. An extremely spacious square was present behind the lava. No lava nor lake water was present in it. Fiery red rocks lay all over in an orderly fashion, and its simpleness contained a trace of antiquity. Lin Dong's body rushed out from within the burning sky cauldron. He looked at the square hidden under the lava at the bottom of the lake, and was momentarily stunned. This square was clearly man-made. He wondered just who would secretly hide such a square in this place. Oh! While Lin Dong was in deep thought because of this matter, he suddenly sensed wave after wave of extremely rich rippling life force spreading over from the distance. His heart quickly shook as his body hurried forward. After traveling for a couple of minutes, he saw a 12 feet large rock pool in the middle of the square. Fiery red lava flowed within the rock pool, while the jade-green specks of light were continuously emitted from the center of the lava. The jade-green specks of light gathered together a foot above the lava after they were emitted. There was already a palm-sized cluster of jade-green liquid suspended in the air. A kind of extremely dense and indescribable life force ripple was being emitted in a churning fashion. It appeared as though the surrounding space was full of vitality because of it. It is indeed the core spiritual birth serum. Lin Dong looked at the jade-green liquid that rose from within the lava, as his eyes instantly became fiery hot. It was always possible for countless mysterious natural treasures to be brewed within the earth. This current core spiritual birth serum was like the earth core spiritual brewing saliva back then. They were all things that one would find only if one was extremely lucky, and were also extremely beneficial towards one's cultivation. Lin Dong licked his lips. However, his cautious self did not lose his rationality in the face of this temptation. Since the core spiritual life serum was truly in this place, it would definitely not be easy for one to obtain it. Otherwise, how could someone as strong as the three-headed demon snake simply leave such a treasure here? Lin Dong's eyes started to carefully observe the surroundings of the lava rock pool. His eyes scanned the place an inch at a time. This continued for a long time, before his eyes suddenly focused. He had discovered that there were actually many extremely dim red lines of light spreading on the bright red ground. These red lines were not obvious. Additionally, the ground was bright red. If one did not observe carefully, it would be impossible to detect. It is a formation. Lin Dong's gaze followed the many red light lines that extended outwards. Finally, he deeply exhaled. This was because these connected red lines coincidentally formed a formation that covered the rock pool. Lin Dong was unable to detect any danger from this formation. However, he also understood that this kind of completely undetectable formation was perhaps the truly terrifying ones. Lin Dong's hand stroked his chin. He mused for a moment, before suddenly waving his hand, as a black figure appeared in front of him. It was the demon corpse that he had obtained from unique devil region back then. Go? Lin Dong flicked his finger. That demon corpse immediately rushed forward and entered the lava rock pool with lightning speed. After which, it grabbed at the core spiritual birth serum. Lin Dong's eyes shrunk the moment the demon corpse was about to reach the lava rock pool. This was because he saw the lines of light around the rock pool suddenly brighten, and an enormous formation took shape on the ground. Soon after, a bright red light line flew out and tore through the air, before heavily smashing into the demon corpse. Bang! The demon corpse's body trembled intensely the moment that the collision occurred. Subsequently, Lin Dong gasped as he saw that incomparably sturdy demon corpse had started to turn into ashes at a shocking speed. A groan emerged from Lin Dong's throat as the demon corpse turned into ashes. The demon corpse had a trace of his Yuan spirit. However, that Yuan spirit had actually vanished along with the demon corpse. What a terrifying formation! Lin Dong's eyes were grave. The physical body of the demon corpse was extremely powerful. Even a fully powered strike by an initial profound life stage expert would definitely be unable to destroy it. Yet, it had now directly turned into ashes due to that tiny light line. Just how terrifying was the destructive power of this light line? That fellow really was not truthful. Lin Dong curled his mouth. He had already guessed that there was something amiss about the three-headed demon snake's words. At this moment, all it took was a glance to verify his guess. If he had recklessly attempted to grab the core spiritual birth serum earlier, it was likely that he would have been turned into ashes. Once he was dead, that fellow would also be able to break the suppression of the burning sky cauldron. Lin Dong slightly narrowed his eyes and stared at the rock pool. A moment later, he suddenly laughed coldly. With a wave of his hand, the burning sky cauldron turned into a ray of light that shot towards the rock pool. Since you dare to lie to me, I'll let you have a taste of that light. The burning sky cauldron swiftly charged towards the rock pool. After which, the mouth of the cauldron shook, and a miserable figure was directly thrown forward. This video will end here.